Once it's dry, it's been dry overnight, just take a razor blade and we'll just slash it out of there. Just kind of drag it along the side edge there. It should come right off. There we go. Now, like I said before, it's obviously not going to come out because of the overhang. So the first thing we've got to do is get a router. Now, I have a couple of routers floating around, but a few of them that are permanently set up. So this router, it says Makita on it. It's got a round base. It has what's called a flush trim bit already set up. We use it for a couple of different things. The whole purpose of the bit is to remove the outside edge, the overhang, if you will, on both sides. So it has ball bearings on the tip. You're going to turn it on, press against it. The bearings will hit the side of the ukulele and we just cut around. Now, normally you want to go counterclockwise opposite the rotation of the cutter. In this case, this is one of those rare times that I want to go with the rotation because as it hits the grain on the ends here, I don't want to break it off. But if we go the opposite direction, in other words, the way that we're not technically supposed to go, it won't. It's called climb cutting, and it's a little bit better. Now, the downside of climb cutting is simply I'm already pulling the direction it wants to go. So as you're cutting, I'm going to hold the base and just kind of keep a good grip as we're going around. Put on safety glasses, and we'll just cut it off. And that cuts off the extra, and it's nice and flush. Now just flip it over and do the same thing. Now, it does make quite a mess, but it should pop out now. Now, don't worry about taking it out yet because there's another operation we still have to do with another router. As you can see from this ukulele, there's a black strip that runs on both sides of the uke. So what we have to do is use a router to cut a small rabbet all the way around. Basically the same thing we just did, just a different bit. And I've already got that set for you. All you have to do is grab the correct router and go ahead and cut. So it's already set. You're going to do the same thing. We're going to cut the same direction, but this time it's going to cut a rabbet joint all the way around, and it'll leave a recess for this edging to go in. All right, with that part gone, it should come right out. Now we have the body, the recesses are cut. Now we have to sit down and prep to glue these in. It takes a lot of tape and some super glue. First step to prep is get a lot of tape. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. So we're gonna tape it to the edge of the table to get some of the dust off so it's easy access. So we need pieces no longer than 2 inches, maybe even 1.5 inches is fine. So I'm going to speed up the process here a little bit on the video. You can see when I say a lot of tape what I mean. All right, that should be enough. Now it's from one end of the table to the very other side, and that's enough for half of it, for putting on one side all the way around. So it's a bit tedious, but it does work. So at this point, I'd say pull up a chair because it's going to be easiest that way. Take your edging, and it really doesn't matter if it's this way or this way. It's the same. We're going to sand it anyway. And we want to start at the top right here. And so you want to match up the edge of this plastic strip with your kerf, with your joint right here, and then you're going to start wrapping it around. Now, we use super glue, and I personally don't like super glue on my hand. Now, I'm right-handed, so I'd recommend putting a glove on your left hand. My left hand is the one that's going to be holding it, so it'll be more likely to get super glue on it. You're welcome to use it on both hands, whatever works, but the tape doesn't come off the glove as easily. Whatever works for you is fine. So we just sit down, start putting glue on, and we're going to put tape on it and stretch it tight all the way around. So the tape is what's acting like a clamp in this case. So I'm going to put a line of glue. A few inches is fine, and just lay it on there straight like that. And get a piece of tape, and then stretch, pull, and wrap it around. And I'm going to put another one right up against it. And then you just start working your way around the outside edge. When you get to the end, before you tape the last little bit, take your trimmers. These are called flush cut. They're a little different than the other ones that I use normally, and try to trim it so there's as little gap between the beginning and the end as possible. And a little more. There we go, perfect. And tape it all down. And there we go. Now that's one side. That's all done. Now you notice as I was doing it, every time I was stretching it really tight. If you don't do that, you get gaps all over the place, and that's a problem. So that's why I said have a lot of tape. Now flip it over, lay out some more tape. Let's do it all over again. Whew, and there you go. Now we let it dry. I'd probably just let it dry overnight again, and then we'll take the tape off and sand it down.